That's really the core of what we're going to be discussing today. Because at the end of the day, the better I understand, and of course, because we are talking about this in the context of the workplace, because remember, our results, if I am not productive, I don't get the results that I want. So yes, this session will help you outside of the workplace, but the priority for today is in the workplace. So the more I understand who I am as a person, the better I can utilize that person that I have now understood. And that's really the core of what I want us to discuss today, or the journey that we're going to go on. So if we are ready with your pen and papers, I have a very small quiz for us to start off. I will read the questions, I will guide you through it. Just rate yourself. Remember, I've told you, this is going to be a journey of self-awareness. And at the end of it, we will tie it together and see how all of this makes us more productive. And that's the journey that I want us to go through. So we're going to spend the next 2 minutes very, very quickly answering these questions. So very quickly, don't worry. If you can't read it, I will read it out to you, and I just want you to rate yourself. All I want you to do is rate yourself. All I want you to do is rate yourself as I read it out to us. All right. So if it is not true for you, rate yourself as a 0. If it is somewhat true for you, rate yourself as a 1. If it is very true for you, then you rate yourself as a 2. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? Can I see some comments that just say ready, ready, ready? So first one, it's important for me to say exactly what's on my mind. If this is not true for you, rate yourself as a 0. If it is somewhat true for you, rate yourself as a 1. If it is very true for you, rate yourself as a 2. It is important for me to say exactly what's on my mind. All right. I'm going to run through this. I'm going to run through this very, very quickly because we do have, no, write it down, because I am not on the, don't respond as a comment. Write it down in your notebook, because at the end of the day, we are going to sum it up together. And I'm instantly, what I'm doing here, you're going to get your instant results. You're going to get your instant results. Don't worry. You're going to get instant results. All right, but write it on your notebook, so at the end of it, you will tell me what your total score is. Second question, I have difficulty feeling and expressing anger and then letting it go. So I have difficulty feeling and expressing anger and then letting it go. So 0 to 2. Remember, on your notebooks, that's why I said, I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you don't have something to write with, bring out your phone. Let's multitask. Use a calculator on your phone to put it all together. But hopefully you have something to write with. Third one, I don't feel it's important to praise the successes of others. I don't feel it is important to praise the successes of others. I think we get the drift now. If it's not true for you, 0. If it's somewhat true, if it's very true. All right. Number 4, it's hard for me to communicate with people whose opinions and backgrounds are different from my own. It is hard for me to communicate with people whose opinions and backgrounds are different from my own, on a scale of 0, 1, 2. All right. I know which people are weaker, slower, and or not as smart as I am. And I am likely to use that information to get ahead. I will read that one more time. I know which people at work are weaker, slower, and or not as smart as I am, and I am likely to use that information to get ahead. 0, 1, 2. All right. Third, the next one. I often find myself speaking without thinking. I often find myself speaking without thinking, and sometimes say hurtful things. I sometimes find myself speaking without thinking and sometimes say hurtful things. 0, 1, 2. All right. I tend to respond to people who are angry by becoming angry myself. I tend to respond to people who are angry by becoming angry myself. The next one, I feel my coworkers benefit when I point out their errors. I feel my coworkers benefit when I point out their errors or mistakes. It helps them to learn and do better. I feel my coworkers benefit when I point out their errors or mistakes, and it helps them learn. It helps them to learn and do better. We have 2 more to go. We're almost done. Second to the last one, most people know that when I am mad, they should stay out of my way. Most people know that when I am mad, they should stay out of my way. Most people know that if I am mad, just say, don't come close. And then the final one, I have strong opinions about most things. I have strong opinions about most things and often find myself in disagreements or debates with others. I have strong opinions about things and often find myself in disagreements or debates with others. On a scale of 0, 1, 2. All right, let's sum it up. All right, I will give you 1 more minute to sum it up. 1 more minute to sum it up. 1 more minute to sum it up. All right, can I get those answers just in my chat box? Can I see my chat? Can I see my chat box on fire with answers? Can I see my chat box on fire with answers? Let me see that chat box on fire with answers. Okay, all right. All right, I see a number of 5s. I see some 6, some 6s. I see a 3. I see a 9, 10. I see a 13. I see an 11. I see a 3. I see a 1. Okay, I see a 12, 8, 2, 5, 7. Great. All right, great. Keep those answers coming. All right, for our big reveal, just give me 1 quick second. Now, at the end of the day, because we're talking about, and I'll talk about the answers very quickly, don't worry. At the end of the day, I can share, if there are certain things about the session that you need, I'm happy to share that on. I think I had an email on, don't worry about that. Don't try and copy. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to. You can take a screenshot to go back and read, because I won't spend too much time on this. But what I want to point out of this is civility, the ability to be civil. And when we think about the workplace, nobody wants to work in a toxic environment. Nobody wants to exist in a toxic home. Nobody wants to feel a part of a toxic environment, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, wherever that is. So people who are self-aware understand. People who are self-aware understand. Sorry about that. Understand how their words and actions affect others. So your self-awareness is not about you. Yes, you want to understand yourself, but you begin to realize how your words and action affect other people. People who are self-aware have a verbal and behavioral edit button, which means that before I say something, I will think about it and make sure that when it lands properly. Or when I act in a certain way, because once the words have been spoken, I can't take them back. They can predict how their words and behaviors would affect others. So we begin to see, just to get a sense, if your score was between 0 and 6, you have a keen sense of self-awareness. Between 7 and 13, you are doing okay, but there's room for improvement. And I don't think I saw anybody in the 14 and above. There are even some people that I will even jump to ask to come and help me take this session. But if you are 14 and above, then it means that there's always room for improvement, but it just means that you need to become very conscious about how your words and how your behaviors impact on others. It becomes very critical that you understand, or you begin to understand, how your words and your actions and your behavior affect other people. But let's move. I'm going to play this video for us to watch. Also, I want you to picture it from a place, and I'll tell us the reason why at the end. I want you to think about where you are. As you watch this video, I will have a question for us at the end, but I want you to begin to understand, where are you?
Location, location, location. Brought to you by the Conscious Leadership Group. Find them on the web at www.conscious.is. Animation by Graham Franks. www.grahamfranks.com. One question that conscious leaders ask themselves over and over is, where am I? To support leaders in locating themselves as they ask the question, where am I? We offer this tool, a line, a simple black line. At any moment, all leaders and all people are either above the line or below the line. Our location describes how we're being with what is occurring in our life right now. If we're above the line, we are open, curious, and committed to learning. If we are below the line, we are closed, defensive, and committed to being right. Stop right now and simply ask yourself, where am I? In this now moment, am I above the line or below the line? Typically, when people are below the line, they believe certain things about the world. For example, they believe there is not enough. It could be that there's not enough money, or time, or space, or energy, or love. People below the line also believe that their story about the situation is right. People below the line also believe that there is a threat out there. Something or someone is threatening their desire for approval, control, or security. And people below the line see the situation as serious. The deeper below the line they are, the more serious things look. People below the line tend to behave certain ways as well. They tend to cling to an opinion, find fault and blame, gossip, explain, rationalize and justify, get overwhelmed, and avoid conflict or pursue conflict for the sake of winning. When people are above the line, they believe that learning and growing are more important than being right. They believe that all people and circumstances are their allies, here for their growth. They believe that from a distance, almost everything is funny. People above the line live in curiosity, listen deeply, speak unarguably, question all their beliefs, and live a life of play. Now, knowing what you know about being above or below the line, where are you? One thing to know as you consider this question: we are hardwired to go below the line. Literally, our brain is programmed to perceive threat, and when it does, a chemical cocktail courses through our veins, and we go below the line. This reaction was designed to help us survive in the presence of a real threat to our physical survival. An issue for modern-day leaders is that often our brains can't tell the difference between a threat to our physical survival and a threat to our ego or identity. We react and get defensive when we experience a threat to our ego. So in many ways, being below the line is natural and normal. But when we are below the line, we're not in a state, literally brain state, of high creativity, collaboration, innovation, and relational connection. We're simply trying to survive. Leaders today can't thrive if they're in survival mode. So the first activity of conscious leadership is location, location, location. In this now moment, where am I? Telling ourselves and others the truth about our current location begins the great conversation.
So I have an honest question. And remember, we said whatever we say here stays here. So I have an honest question. Are you above the line or below the line? Can I get that in the comment section? Are you above the line? Honestly, this is a no judgment zone. No judgment. But remember, we're talking about self-awareness. We're truly talking about self-awareness. I must understand. Yes, and some people may be on the line. I have a few things that about me that make me underline some things, right? Sometimes above, sometimes below, all right? But where are you today? I say a lot of people are above the line. I have a number of people who are below the line. Now, I think this is so critical in understanding to our success. Where I am, if I am above the line or below the line, remember all of the things, you know, for my HR people, when we start talking, we're either talking about people are engaged and motivated for work, or they are disengaged. Which is why for a lot of HR professionals, and I don't envy them, they're always thinking about engagement strategies. What do I do to engage my team? Because they're either engaged above the line or disengaged below the line. Now we know that if I am below the line, my productivity is already suffering. The state of mind that I bring to work has already been hindered, which means that I have not brought my best self. The best version of myself is not showing up every single day. And if that best version of myself doesn't show up, I cannot be productive until I bring the best version. And this doesn't mean that we will not have some down times. It doesn't mean that we won't have times when we struggle. But at the end of the day, when we begin to think about self-awareness, I want you to just think at the back of your mind, the first exercise that we went through, this video that we have just watched. And I want you to begin to do a clear assessment of yourself. Who am I? Where am I? What will others say about me? Because remember, we have talked about self-awareness is not just about who I am, but how my behavior, how my words impact on the people that I come in contact with on a daily basis. Now, it was important that we had this session at the beginning of the year. Maybe January would have been more ideal, but we have 10 more months to go. We have set these big company goals that we want to accomplish. And for that to happen, we must be productive. But my productivity starts from an understanding of myself. My productivity starts from an understanding of who am I, but not just who am I. I think the critical question that I have shown us that we also need to answer today is where am I? Who am I and where am I? And I'm hopeful that as we go through this journey together, we will be able to understand, or at least get a better understanding of who you are. And I'm hopeful that you already know that, right? I'm sure if I asked us to rate ourselves, we'll put out all of the amazing numbers and we'll get there. But it's really just to ask ourselves, who am I? But as I ask myself, who am I? Can I also answer that question of where am I? Because you need a balance of who am I and where am I for me to be truly productive. And that's the core of what we're going to be discussing today. Because at the end of the day, the starting point in leading others is learning to lead yourself. You cannot lead others if you can't lead yourself. That's the reality. But if I ask all of us here today, we all have aspirational goals. The reason why we're going to go out and bust and put in work is so that at the end of the year, we can see growth, career progression, maybe a promotion, maybe increase in pay, or even if it just end at the satisfaction of the goals that I set for this year, I have accomplished it alongside my team. But if this is the aspiration, if this is the desire, if this is what continuous improvement means for you, then we have to begin to understand that the starting point in getting to that journey, in accomplishing that desire, is leading yourself. But until I get to a place where I can lead myself, Now I'm tying it back to the first assessment that we did. Do I think about how my words land? Do I think about how my behaviors impact people? Or am I just saying things the way I want to say them? Because if I don't learn how to bring if I don't learn how to bring myself under control, then it becomes impossible for me to lead other people. And that's the core, that's at the root of self-awareness. The core, at the root of self-awareness, is not just an understanding of self. It is a leading of the self I have now understood. Because when I understand myself, I begin to see the things that don't work for me. And I have to do things about that. And I see the areas where I'm amazing at. And that's the self that I want the whole world to see. So it starts with self. It starts with leading myself. And I mean, this is just a very, very straightforward definition. But self-awareness is the ability to understand our traits, my feelings, my personality, and behavior, and how they influence our decisions and interaction with others. Because at the end of the day, who you are, I'm sure we've all heard this before. Sometimes when we ask someone the question, say, that's who I am. If you can't take me like this, forget about it. Has anybody ever experienced that before? When someone says, this is how I am. If you don't like it, leave it. Anybody? Can I get some comments in the comment section? Has anybody said, no, even from my house, they know me. This is how I am. If you don't want it, then forget about it. But we are beginning to understand that that kind of person doesn't have the ability to make the right decisions, doesn't have the ability to interact with people, because you must be mindful of your words, of your behavior. So I want you to begin to think about this thing. When was the last time? How is my behavior impacting my ability to lead people at my workplace? And how is that impacting on the productivity of the entire team? I'll say that again. How are my words and my behavior impacting on my interactions with people? And how is that impacting on the productivity of my department, of my units, and of our overall goals? Because until I get it right, productivity will continue to suffer, because I'm always interacting with people. And I want to understand myself so that I get to a place where I can influence decisions, where I can influence people in the direction that I want them to go, so that I can utilize my strengths. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Why is this important? We understand ourselves better. Self-awareness is important. Some of the things I just said, we understand ourselves better. We are empowered to build on our strengths. We can identify weak spots and create solutions. So I begin to see, what are my weak areas? How do I create solutions? And it just helps in overall self-improvement. We're on this journey of getting better. Remember, we're not on a journey of comparisons. We're on a journey of being a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. That's the journey that we're on. I am not on a journey of comparison. You are not on a journey of comparison. You are on a journey of being a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, even if it is by 1%. And I continue to push that 1% until I become a better version of myself. So the big question in the room is, how do I get to know myself? So, yes, you can actually look into a mirror, but we're not asking, when you're talking about self-awareness and an understanding of yourself, we're not talking about how you look in the mirror. And I know that you're all handsome and beautiful people, but it's not just how you look in the mirror, but there has to be some level of introspection. So it's not just the physical that we're talking about. A lot of introspection, understanding internally, who am I? So that's the question. Who am I? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I want us to watch another very quick video before we do something. I will just watch maybe about the first 30 seconds of it.
He has swag. Color blocking with the yellow hat and shoes, along with the denim on denim. This guy had potential. But could he sing?
Don't cry, don't go. One life, love you.
I don't wanna go there. You should never go there. Daddy me.
Ooh. That's the one more I do.
What does that do?
It's a new technique I developed myself.
Okay, but what does it help with? How does it help your voice?
It helps with the tightness. I know fit deny your love for me. The way you cherish taking care of me. When I look right into your eyes, I can't then recall the first day that I set my eyes on you.
Ó ní mi ò lè san tán, ìjọ ti wá mi o, bébí máa ṣe yẹn o. I keep loving you wá lọ fọ́, mo gbé súnmọ́ ó wá.
Stop. You're my African queen.
I think we get the sense of what I was trying to get there. But if you are laughing on the background, hey, sure, let me not say God forgive you, but of course. But as we ask ourselves to look in the mirror, I'm about to lead us to another exercise, but I wanted to play this. So first of all, let me get our reaction. What was your thoughts when you watched that video? Anybody wants to come off mute? It would be great to hear someone's voice. But even if you just want to type in the comment section, let me just get some reaction. What was your thoughts when you watched that video? Anybody? Let me hear someone's voice. Or just what was your thoughts when you watched the video? Someone says, who advised them to go? All right. Anybody else?
Who encouraged them? Do they have friends who told them it was okay to go?
Okay. Do they have friends? Someone says, wahala, wow. Right? So we begin to recognize. I was wondering how come they did not know that they could not sing. I don't want to go there. You people like, so what were they thinking? They believed in themselves. Must you sing? Now, the question that I asked, thought-provoking, is it by force? They lack self-awareness. But the question that I asked, that I want to throw out to us today, are there things that we think we are amazing at? Because we think we have so much self-awareness that we are doing, that certain people are sitting back and saying, uncle, who asked you to go? Who asked you to do this? Is it by force? You cannot do it now. Wahala, wow. That's the point. And you begin to see how critical self-awareness is. Because just like these people who went on Nigerian Idol, and we're sitting back now and asking ourselves, oh, wow, how? Are there people who are sitting back and asking themselves, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So you recognize the importance of self-awareness. And of course, they definitely didn't get the results that they wanted. All right, Itoro, just keep all your questions. I will take them. I will take all of them at once at the end. All right, just keep all the questions. I will take all of them at the end. So we begin to recognize that it's so critical.
He has swag.
So the question I have for you today is, how well do you know yourself? That self that you bring up. And remember, my word for today, it's a journey. It's a journey. So I'm not saying it ends, but I'm just trying to open up our minds to see how critical it is. And how the evolution of self cannot stop. And how I must continue on this journey of understanding who I am. So I want us to do one quick exercise, but before we get there, my question for you is, what's your superpower? What's your superpower? We all have superpowers. Even those guys we looked at in the video, they have superpowers. All of us, we all have superpowers. So what's your superpower? And I'm not a cartoon character, but as I researched for this session, just like even Superman had a kryptonite. So we know that his kryptonite, in spite of how powerful Superman is, there was something that weakened him. All right? Are there any Superman fans in the house? Any Superman fans in the house? Let me just let me know in the comment section. Any Superman fans, any Marvel, any cartoon fans in the house? Just let me know in the comment section. But you know, it's also just recognizing, okay, Emeka, yeah, fun, all right, Abena. So I have some all right. So I want you to think about it. So the reason why we all have superpowers, but at the same time, you can call it, we all have blind spots. We all have weaknesses. Even Superman had a weakness. We all have areas where we need improvement. But that's also the reason why we don't work in isolation, why we interact with others. So I want us to do this quick exercise. Like I mentioned, I hope you have a notebook. I hope you have a notebook. Because what I want you to be able to accomplish at the end of this session is that you can show up to work tomorrow and understand how you begin to utilize yourself for productivity. So I've told you that everybody has a superpower. So in this, your balance sheets, what are your strengths? So we're going to talk about, you know, balance sheets for my accountants or just any, but for my accountants in the house, you have assets, you have liabilities. So as you look into that mirror, as you do some introspection, my question to you this afternoon is, what is your superpower? What is my signature strength? What is it? What is my superpower? I want you to write it down. At least 2. Anywhere between 2 and 3. Just limit it to 2, because I want this to be very practicable for you tomorrow. Between 2 and 3 strengths. What is that your superpower? That if I asked your best friend, if I called your mom up today, or I called your dad, or if I called up someone you felt knew you the best, they'll say, oh no, I know. That's their superpower. 2 to 3, write it down. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. Now, the second part of it is we all have weaknesses. Even Spider-Man has his own kryptonite. What's your kryptonite? It's who you are. You're doing this, you're going on this journey for yourself so that a better person shows up from today. You're going on this journey for yourself. All right? I give us 2 minutes. The next thing I want you to think about, what are your potential strengths? Remember, we're not just talking about self-awareness. So we're talking about the keys to productivity. I'm always bringing it back so that you're tying everything that we're doing together. What are my potential strengths? What are the skills and abilities I could develop further? And remember, this potential strength is not your superpower. My superpower is if you wake up Superman in the middle of the night, he's ready to go. That's your superpower. But what are some potential areas of it that you could develop? There's potential. You could build on it. You could build on them. And what are my development opportunities? Skills and abilities I am motivated to improve. What are the areas, those development opportunities? Maybe there's something different you want to do tomorrow. Maybe there's a growth path that you see. It's just a development opportunity. I mean, everybody today is going into tech because tech is the new oil, right? So people are looking at those as development opportunities. What are those things? What are those skills? What are those abilities that you are motivated to improve on? We can do both of these together. I will give us 2 minutes. I hope this, let me see in the comment section. I hope this exercise we are going through is useful for you. I hope it's useful. Can I get some comments in the comment section? I hope it's useful for us. I hope it's useful. Thank you, Toro. I hope it's useful for you. Anybody? All right, Lady Ella, I see that. Thank you, Daramola. All right, okay, Abidemi. All right, I hope it's useful for you. I will wrap it up nicely. Don't worry. I will wrap it up nicely for you. Kike, thank you. Jimmy, thank you. Right? Great. All right, and once you're done, just type in done. Once you're done, I don't want to rush us through this process. But remember, I promised you 90 minutes. Let me even begin to beg for a few minutes extra. I might shoot over a 90-minute session by a few, but hopefully this is beneficial for you, that you'll be able to spend a few minutes after our time is up. All right, if you're done, just type in done. If you're done, just type in done. Great, 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 great. Lady Ella says not done, very hard. Don't worry. Remember, it's a journey. So even if you're not done now, I will leave it for you as assignment to say you just go back and think about it to say, what is my superpower? And one way for you to figure it out is ask the people around you, what are the things I am good at? What is my superpower? What is that thing I can do in my sleep? What is that thing that just feels natural to me? What is that thing that, even if it's not part of my job description, I'm excited to do it because I can do it better and faster than anybody else? That's how you begin to think about your superpower. You might be the one who organizes. And you may not even realize it's not your work, but once they say there's end of year party, in 20 minutes, you have organized everything, everybody's having an amazing time. And you're like, oh, wow, how did you do that? That's how you begin to think about your superpower. Easily, you can get it done. Little effort, because it feels so natural and you actually enjoy doing it. Your areas of improvement, you begin to think, maybe one way that will help you for that area of improvement is you go back to that first exercise and ask yourself, even the places where I scored higher points, do I get angry easily? Don't I pay attention to people? Also remember what we watched in our location video. Am I above the line or below the line? Am I open to learning? Am I curious? Am I inquisitive? Am I shutting people down? Do I listen to other people's opinions? Am I excited about the things that people are doing? You know, that's how you begin to think about what my blind spots. Why am I not able to motivate my team the way I want them to be motivated? What do I need to do differently? Do I listen to my team members? Do I feel I'm always right? Am I opinionated? And just, you know, but also ask the people around you, potential strengths, things you can develop on, and then development opportunities. All right. Now, the big question that I have for you, and we are moving a little bit into our productivity. We spent quite some time on our self-awareness. The question I have for you now, and forgive me if I am scattering any table or punching you in places that is making it hurt. But the person you identified, does the person you have identified equip you to be the superstar in your field? Can I get some answers? That person you have identified of your superpower, of your weakness, of your potential strengths, of your development opportunities, does it equip you to become the superstar in your field? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if it doesn't, if it hinders you, if it doesn't adequately prepare you, then you begin to see, because you can only become a superstar if you're productive. Do I have any testifiers in the house? You can only become a superstar in your field if you are productive. Can anybody testify to that? Do I have any testifiers in the house? That you would only become a superstar if you are productive. I don't become a superstar. Yes, there's repetition that makes me get better. And one of the things that I am learning, that I began to learn recently, you know how growing up, they say, what's that thing? They say, practice makes perfect. And if you fall into that bucket of perfectionist like I do, my aha moment was when they say practice makes improvements. Because for a long time, I've been on this journey of perfection. And you know, when you're on a journey of perfection, you struggle. So superstars are made by practice, are made by repetition. But my strengths, my weakness cannot hinder me from becoming that person. Because without that, I cannot become that person. So the other question, another way to answer this question is, does the person you have identified, the strengths, the weakness, the developmental areas, does he help you smash your goals this year? If it doesn't, please come back to this place and say, what are my development opportunities? What opportunities, what areas of development do I need to go and learn now so that before the end of this year, I will smash those goals? What are my potential strengths? What areas have I seen some indicators that I can get better? What areas have I seen indicators that I can get better? So that come December 31st, 2022, I would have been productive not just at work, but in the totality of my life. Not just at work, but in the totality of my life. But let's bring it back to work. Let's bring it back to work. I have one more video, and I'm going to play this for about a minute. I'm going to play this for about a minute, but I will also send you this video to watch. To all the people who show up, I'll also send you this video to watch later on. But I just want to make a point within the first 45 seconds, 1 minute of the video, and then we'll move along.
Some books you read and then forget. Others change a small part of your life. Then there are the rare gems that fundamentally change the way you think, live and work. Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World by Cal Newport is one of the latter. As the world advances, 3 kinds of people will survive and prosper. Owners of capital or people with access to it. Those who can work with intelligent machines and technology. Superstars in their field of work. Deep Work focuses on the third type. To become one, you need to develop 2 skills. The ability to quickly master hard things and the ability to produce at an elite level in terms of both quality and speed. Deep Work is the concept that interlinks these 2 skills. Hard things are complex and you need to give them all of your attention and focus. The batching of hard but important intellectual work into long, uninterrupted stretches is key to high productivity. The new law of productivity is high quality work produced equals time spent times intensity of focus. So, why aren't we all performing deep work?
Deep work is hard and shallow work is easier. And in the absence of clear goals for your job,
the visible busyness that surrounds shallow work becomes self-preserving. Our goal is to systematically develop your personal ability to go deep and, by doing so, reap great rewards.
All right. So you see that when I had talked about superstars in your field, the point I was making there was around what the future needs. Because, you know, at the end of the day, all of the work that we do, most definitely, Jimmy, I'll share the video with you guys after the class. But all of the work that we're doing to get us productive, we need to get into a certain mindset. You know, you have to become a superstar in your field. And for you to do that, you have to do hard work. And you need to create the time for us to get there. But I just wanted to make the point
you read and then
how
forget.
critical it is that we're doing that. And we're all, how many of us are familiar with the prioritization matrix? This is not what I want to talk about, but how many of us are familiar with this as I put a bow on all that we have been talking about? How many of us are familiar with this prioritization matrix? Adebola, please go ahead. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware of it. I understand.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so a number of us are. This is where I want us to focus, or this is where I'm going to be focusing our time. Now, at the end of the day, give me one second. So this is where I put the bow on a lot of the things that we have been talking about. The more I understand myself, I understand my superpowers. For you to become productive is a utilization of your strengths. Yes, I know that they tell us to think about our weakness, but you do not work in isolation. So self-awareness, the key to productivity is an understanding of myself, my strengths, my superpower, and utilizing that superpower to get my job done. So rather than focus on my weaknesses, and I'm not saying that we don't get better, because we definitely see areas and we think about our interaction with people and how our words and how our behaviors impact people. But at the end of the day, for me to become a superstar, and remember, all of you said, or not me, you said that, at least that's what most of us said, that everything you identified as your superpower, as your kryptonite, as your areas of development, is equipping you to become a superstar in your field. So I am asking you, and what I am sharing this evening is saying, how do I utilize my strengths, these strengths that I have identified? How do I use it to get stuff done? How do I use it to get stuff done? So this means, in the typical prioritization matrix, this means, now we're tying it together. It means that I spend most of my time in quadrant 2. What are my strengths? What are my big bets? Where are those places where I have made big goals? What are the big goals that I have for the year? And how do I spend my time in that quadrant? Because I have scheduled it. Because I have scheduled it, I will utilize my strengths in quadrant 2, where the big bets are. And that's where we begin to talk about the 80-20 rule. That 20% will give me 80% of the results. So 20% of my activities. So if I have 10 things on my list, 10 things on my list, 2 of those things will give me most of my results. But if I'm speaking to someone here, you know that the 2 most important things in terms of your big bets are the things that you continue to push back. How many of us can, if that's your experience, just put it into the chat box. Even when you have done your to-do list, the hardest things on your to-do list are not the things that you start with. But I am saying that you cannot be productive until you begin to utilize your strengths to fix your big bets, to get your big bets done. A lot of times we like to focus on the low-hanging fruits. I've checked my email, I've done it. No, for you to be productive, you have to focus on your big bets. How do I utilize my strengths to get there? If I don't have it, what are my potential strengths that I need to go and build today so that I can get my big bets done? And that's how I get productive. That's how I become a superstar in my field. What does this also mean? It doesn't mean that we don't focus on the low-hanging fruits. But one of the things that I want to point out here, in our world of work today, there are a lot of people who say, I'm a morning person, I'm an evening person. How do you utilize when your energy is most on quadrant 2? Some people get energy by 4 o'clock. They are all alive when people are going to work. How do you schedule that time? Now, I am taking that prioritization matrix and saying, how do I schedule that time for my big bets? And when I am low energy, I can focus on the low-hanging fruits because I can check my email whether I am full of energy or not. But I'm definitely not able to put together that strategic document if I don't have the right energy. Right or wrong? Can I know in the comment section? I cannot put together that strategic document if I don't have the right energy. But I'll check my email, I'll pick up my phone, I'll do all those things that I need to do. Now, when we come to quadrant 3 in the maybes, that's where we begin to work as a team. That's where we begin to utilize the strengths of others to delegate in the prioritization metric. That metric is delegation. That's where I begin to delegate to others. Utilize the strengths on your team. Utilize the strengths on your team. But if you have a line manager above you, those are the kind of tasks you begin to pick up so that you can build your capacity, so that you can build your strengths. So those maybes, if you don't have anybody to delegate it to, then you can do it. But delegate it to others. Because sometimes, even the things that are in the maybes, sometimes is our blind spots. We don't want to do them, so they keep on dragging. We have outgrown them, so we are upset every time we are doing it. Every time I'm doing it, I'm getting angry. And that's where my character that I don't like, oh, I'm the one that is meant to type the memo. But I've gotten past this work now. So when I'm trying to do it, I'm angry when I'm doing it and I'm losing energy. Delegate it. And the things that are not worth the effort, don't do them at all. So I want us to look at the prioritization metric from a place where I am utilizing my strengths to ensure that I am productive. And that is how self-awareness is the key to my productivity. Because now I understand myself. I understand my strengths. I know where I am on that line. Am I above the line? Am I below the line? I know the things, if I'm below the line or on the line, I know the things that I need to do to get myself above that line. If I scored above 14, if I scored in the high 10s, in the initial assessment that we did, I begin to know the areas where I need to, am I rude to my employees? What are the things that I am doing? Where do I need to make those changes in my words and behavior and my interaction with people so that I am better? We have gone through a superpower exercise that has now brought me to this place to say, because at the end of the day, prioritization metrics, if I focus on the most important things, I will be productive. That's the reality. If I focus on the most important things, I will be productive. And what I'm telling us today is, how do we utilize our strengths to get us to productivity without focusing too much on our weaknesses? Or how do I utilize my strength to get me to this place where I am productive? I wanted to spend most of the time, so let me pause and just ask, do we have any questions? I know it's already had a question. If you have a question, please just raise your hand and I'll take your questions. All right, Dubaim, let me have you. Dubaim, go ahead. Come off mute. Let me hear your question.
No, I was just raising to signify that it was very beneficial to me, really.
Oh, okay, great, great.
But now I'm up. Can you give an example of what exactly a low-hanging fruit is? Because off the top of my head, I can't really pinpoint what exactly that would be.
Okay, great. So low-hanging fruits, there are a number of ways I can explain this, but I would term low-hanging fruits. I mean, part of the things for you to be productive, and of course, you know, we have 90 minutes. There are only so much I can do in 90 minutes. But I mean, part of your productivity tools is just make sure that you have a list of the things that you have to do every day. Don't show up to work as a blank slate. You won't get anything done. You won't be productive. But if you have a list of 10 things to do, your low-hanging fruit are some of the easiest things for you to do. And if you realize, a lot of times, that's where you start from. You call me in the morning and maybe you say, make this phone call. You know that you can make that phone call in your sleep, but you start from there. That's a low-hanging fruit. All right? Things that are relatively easier for you to get done. Your low-hanging fruit. Very, very simple. Now, the idea of a low-hanging fruit is, if you think about any kind of tree, as something you just raise up your hand and you can pluck it and you have gotten what you want. That's the idea behind the low-hanging fruit. But it's literally like your easy task that you can get done that doesn't impact you so much. Dubem, hopefully I've answered that question. Emmanuel, do you have
thank you. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. First, I must appreciate you for diving deeper into this, because I've actually attended. I tried to read about it. My question would be, when when you talked about personality types and tying it to productivity, in a situation whereby there are too many interests, you have different interests and different priorities from the various interests, how best do you think that scenario can be best managed? So you're like a central focal point. You have some things that are low hanging that you could easily delegate, but there are some things that are coming from, let's say, 4 different units into one box. How do you think is best to effectively manage that process?
Okay, I missed some of what you said, but I think I got the general gist of what you were saying. Now, what I will say to that is, at the end of the day, part of the things that people should know is, different systems work in different ways, right? In terms of I'm meant to manage and how do I prioritize. So let me just clarify your question, Emmanuel. So you're saying that you are the central point and there are multiple departments that are coming to you, and how do you now prioritize on the most important things to get done? Is that your question?
Yes, in a unit, not like in a particular department, there are different subsections. So you have stakeholder engagement, you have delivery, and in each of these units, there are meetings. So some of these are even pre-scheduled. I'm just being curious. How do you think you can enhance productivity within that framework? Thank you.
Okay. All right. What I will say to that, and I mean, there's no hard fast rule, and of course, I'll need some more information to get to be able to help you more. But what I will say to that is, the way to always think about productivity is, what are my goals? I want to believe that everybody here has set goals for the year, or maybe you have set it for the next 3 months, or for the quarter, or for 6 months, or for whatever. Now, the best way to think about productivity is, every activity that I am engaging in, does this activity help me get my goal? If that activity you cannot see, or it is not clear to you how an activity you are engaging in helps you accomplish your goal, then you need to revisit that activity. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't help you accomplish your goal, the activity will be done, but your goal remains unaccomplished. Emmanuel, does that make sense? So I would say one of the things that you will go back and do as your units, even for the meetings that have been pre-scheduled, and say, this is our goal, and I'm sure your unit has a goal, and just ask yourself, honest question, this meeting I'm about that we have 2 weeks from now, does it help us meet this goal? If it helps us meet this goal, do 5 people need to attend this meeting? Can 2 people attend on our behalf? Why 3 people go and do something else so that our goal continues? And I think it's that honest conversation that will begin to give you some of the answers that you need. Emmanuel, I hope that is helpful.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
All right, great. Okay, Peter, I see your question. You sent it directly to me. I will just read it out and then answer that, and then we'll move on. So it says, I interact with several units in my office. Sometimes the goals conflict. My responsibility include helping every unit achieve their goals. How do I manage this and set my priorities? I think it's the same thing, same question that Emmanuel is asking, or similar. What are your goals? What are the needs of these different departments? And of course, you have to remember that when people come to you, you have to be willing to interact with people. Remember, I've said that you have to be able to interact with people. We are human beings. We don't work in isolation. So even in terms of prioritization, yes, everybody can send an email by 5 o'clock. But as you interact with people, you begin to realize that, okay, there's one that is due by 5:10. There's one that is due tomorrow morning. So in understanding how people need, the timelines, going back to people, understanding what needs to get done, you can now take all of that information and prioritize for yourself. To say, okay, this is the order in which I will get this done, because this is the order in which it is needed. Is that clear? Does that help? Does that help, Peter? Hopefully that's clear. But remember, some of these things, I'll need a whole lot more information to be able to guide you. But I think it's really don't ever stop engagement. Interact with people. Make sure that they understand what you need to get done, how you can support them. And then from there, don't feel like you don't have to interact with them. And then from that perspective, you have a sense of how you need to support them to get their work done. All right. I want to take maximum of 10 minutes over. So I have about 8 minutes. If you have any questions, just put it into the comment section and I will answer it for you. All of us, and I want us to also do this in your notebooks. What commitments are you making today? What are you going to begin to do differently going forward? You have gotten this information. Just one. Don't even write 2 things. One thing. Can I get that in the comment section? What is one thing you're going to begin to do differently today based off of the information that you have gotten? One. Just one thing. What is that one thing you're going to begin to do differently? Can I get that in the comment section? Can I get that in the comment section? What is that one thing that you're going to begin to do differently? Okay, Itora, I'll come back to you. What is that one thing that you're going to begin to do differently? Deep work on all tasks. I will always reflect before taking action. Prioritize my time. Delegate more. Delegate. All right? Don't just say these things. Oh, please go back. Remember, we want to be productive. We want to be productive, work more on my strengths. Don't just say them. Ensure you are going back. Ensure you are going back and utilizing these things. Ensure you're going back and utilizing them to be able to get that done. I have some useful tools that will be helpful for you. I will send it across to you, everyone. For everyone, I will need your email address, and I'll tell you how to send me your email addresses so that I can send you the information. But I recommend that you do a deep work. The book Deep Work is an amazing book for you to read. I will share the summary video as well as the summary of the book just to get you started. But whenever you have some time, I highly recommend that you read this book, Deep Work. I will also, there's a Myers-Briggs type indicator. I would also ensure that I will send you a link for you to just do a personality test, just to get to understand your strengths. There's another one I will send to you. They are free. You get to understand yourself better and how you show up to work. Just as we wrap up, I know some of us are interacting with Wave for the first time. So I just wanted to let you know about the amazing organization that I work for. I mean, Wave is, can you get the recording? Yes, I'm getting there. Stay with me to the end. Please, in five minutes, max 7 minutes, I'll be done. And I will answer all those questions. So, I mean, at the core of what Wave does is really just trying to unleash full potential of human capital. I mean, there are various arms of the business. There's an arm of the business that is focused on solving unemployment in Nigeria, which we know is a big issue. So we train unemployed youth and then we connect them to jobs. I work in a different department that engages with businesses to help them improve productivity. So if you're looking for an organization where you can volunteer your time, if you're passionate about young people, you want to give back in some way, volunteer your time, take a session. I mean, Wave is a place for you to go to. But of course, the business unit that you're interacting with today is corporate training. And then, we design, customize. I know we have different organizations here today. Some of my clients are here and I'll talk about them in a bit. But we design customized trainings for businesses, customized to your specific need to ensure that at the end of the day, you see improvements in areas. And we have worked across multiple industries, from hospitality to telecom to financial services. This is a little bit about myself. I don't know why it's not coming up, but hey, I was going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been training for quite a bit. These are some of our partners. These are some of the people that we've done work for. I'm sure you heard when I was hailing my GT Bank people. Olubanke is around. There are a number of my people. So we've done work for quite a number of businesses across all industries. You see, we've done work for iFitness. A number of them. So wherever your business, whatever industry, we're definitely able to serve you. Some of the services that we offer, this session has been virtual, but we can do it physical, soft skills training, whether it's for your leadership team, supervisory training. We're able to facilitate retreats, town hall facilitation, whatever it is that you need. This is my last slide. But you guys have been amazing. Put your hands together for yourself. You have been amazing. I don't even know how to give. I was going to give a free 1 hour session to an organization or the most engaged person at this call. I don't even know how to do that. However, what I am going to do for you, for every single person, give me 1 second. What I'm going to do for every single person. I don't know. You guys have been just too good. What I'm going to do for every single person, everyone that sends their email address to this email address I just dropped in the comment section will get an access to this BERT assessment. It's a personality test. Everyone, as long as you send an email, so just send me an email to this email address, you will get access to the BERT assessment, because you guys have been amazing. So everybody, just send me an email. I will be checking it. As soon as the email comes in, you will get access, complete it, learn about yourself. That's the goal. It will give you like a total understanding of who you are. I want you to take all of that learning and go back into your organization and smash your goals this year and become as productive as you know that you can be. This has been an amazing session. Let me get some feedback. Has it been great? Let me get some feedback in the comment section. Has it been great? Have you learned something? My name is, I didn't even do an introduction of myself. Apologies for that. I guess I was too excited to get the session going. My name is Somto. If you're Igbo, my name is Somto Chiku. But my name is Somto Obona. And then I obviously work at Wave. I've been at Wave for the last 6.5 years now. And I lead the corporate training team, where we're interacting with multiple businesses, like I mentioned, and we have done work across various platforms. My name is Somto Obona, and I just put that into the comment section. Okay, yes, let me quickly answer Itoro's question and then we'll wrap up. So the difference between self-awareness and confidence. You can be self-aware, you can be confident. Remember, you can be confident about something, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it reflects who you are. So yes, I am confident. I feel like I can get this done. But remember, one of the things that I said, the best way to understand self-awareness is to ask people about you. So What are people saying about the things that you're saying? Get feedback. Take the feedback, review it, do a lot of introspection, understand if it works for you. So I'm not saying that everything anybody says about you is right, but people who have known you, who interact with you, you're doing something confidently, or you think that you're doing it amazingly well, and they're like, oh no, it's not working. Change this. Think about that. That's where you begin to know. So yes, I can be self-confident. I can be confidently doing rubbish. Do we agree with that? Can someone tell me in the comment section? Can I be confidently doing the wrong thing? I can be confidently, like if we watch the video, they had self-confidence. So I can be confidently doing the wrong thing. I can, in confidence, type the wrong reports. I can, in confidence, answer the phone the wrong way. But self-awareness is what gets me to say, so this thing that I think I am confident about, maybe not so much, because of the feedback I've gotten from people and based on my interaction with others. It's all right. I hope that answers your question. So I will keep my free 1 hour session, but I'm hoping to hear from a lot of the businesses that have been here, and I will give everybody the BERC assessment. Thank you. I see all of the thank you, but I'm telling you the biggest thanks that I can get from you is to be able to engage with you a month from now, 2 months from now, and see how much you have grown and gotten better. That is the greatest thank you. If you want to add on top of that, refer me. Let me come and do some work. Now that you know the work that we do, if you have any training needs within your organization, you know that Wave is the place. Wave is the place to go. I mean, go forth and smash those goals. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.